What if I told you the most important relationship in your career as a manager isn't with your team, but with your boss? It's a bold claim, I know, but after coaching hundreds of managers and witnessing countless career success stories, I've uncovered a pattern. The leaders who rise the fastest aren't just great at leading their team, they're masters at managing up. So in this video, I'm going to share 5 doable techniques that will transform how you interact with your senior leaders. These aren't just theories, they're tried and tested strategies my clients have used to step change their profile and stand out from the crowd. But first, we need to address the big problem many managers face when it comes to managing up: fear. Some years ago, during my corporate days, we were rolling out a new integrated forecasting, ordering, billing system. It was billed as the business transformation to end all business transformations. If you know, you know. I had nominated several people from my team to work alongside the project team, and one of them noticed a flaw in the rollout plan. He knew it could cause some issues down the line, but was worried about challenging his boss's decision. So he kept quiet and hoped the project team's optimism would ring true. That boss, dear friends, was me. He told me this as we sat in the middle of the post-rollout chaos. He said that he'd worried about my response and thought that hopefully they would have just pulled it off. I truly appreciated his honesty. You see, this highlights a crucial element of managing up. The boss has the power, even if, like me, they don't see it that way. I thought I was approachable and open, and I definitely wanted this project to succeed. However, people can get stuck in the hierarchical structure. They may not know their senior colleagues very well, and as a result, they fear engaging more deeply with their bosses. They don't want to appear incompetent or unprepared. They worry about bothering or annoying their busy boss, or perhaps nervous about negative feedback or criticism. Now, this isn't necessarily full-blown, teeth-chattering fear, but it's enough to get in your heads and hold us back. Perhaps we wait for the perfect moment that never comes, or we find ourselves stumbling over our words or unable to articulate clearly what we really think. Overcoming these fears is crucial in managing up well. A better mindset towards organizational hierarchy involves viewing the hierarchy as just a structure for efficient decision-making and communication, not as a barrier. Recognizing that everyone has valuable insights and experiences to offer, and seeing yourself as a team player in achieving the organizational goals, regardless of your position. Now, senior leaders play a very big part in creating this environment, and I think they could definitely do more to help it along. But by adopting this mindset, you can approach managing up with confidence and authenticity, leading to stronger relationships and hopefully career growth. So the first step in managing up well is to shift your mindset. Recognize that the fears will come, but they won't stop you. View your boss as a teammate and be proactive and be a problem solver. The starting point for that is building depth of relationship with your manager and knowing what's important to them. But the big question is, do you even ask? There's a conundrum going on in many an office. Here are 2 common insights from coaching conversations I've had over the years. One is a very busy leader who has many ideas for how the team will succeed. They're clear. However, when prompted to ask for feedback as part of their coaching, they found out they haven't been quite as clear as they thought they had. Their team see many priorities. The second is the manager who's flat out busy, can see issues, but is confused by the priorities. And when I ask, have you asked your manager? The answer is usually no. Too few people have these vital conversations, and as a result, do not truly understand what's important to the manager. They wait to be told, and yet many leaders fail to tell them. But without this context, when it comes to managing up, it's hard to align your work and communication style with what your manager needs. The action is simply to ask them and then check. I've rarely had a client tell me this hasn't proved to be a fruitful conversation. So here's a couple of examples of easy entry conversations to have with your boss to fully understand their roles, priorities, and challenges, especially at this time of year. The questions are: I'm thinking about next year. What's important to you that I should consider? 2, I've been thinking about this coming quarter. What challenges do you see for us? 3, I've been thinking about my own leadership development. I'd be really interested to understand how you see your role. These simple questions act as a guide so that you can add them into one-to-ones or have a chat over a coffee. Either way, the more you find out, the easier it is to tailor subsequent communication through this lens, thus giving you more impact and more influence. The third strategy to improve your managing up skills involves monkeys. In 1974, the Harvard Business Review published an article called Management Time, Who's Got the Monkey? By William Onken and Donald Wass. In it, they introduced a concept called taking the monkey. And the key idea behind this concept is that the monkey represents the next actions required to progress on a problem or a task. When an employee tells their manager about a problem, the manager often automatically takes on the problem without bouncing it back with clear delegation or direction. They are said to have taken on the monkey. And this often leads to managers becoming overloaded with work, while employees become less proactive and dependent on their manager. From experience, managers often realise this at 7 o'clock at night when they want to finish work and they are wondering why on earth they're doing this particular task. It's very common for people to share the problem and not the solution, thus perpetuating this issue. Luckily, you have a different mindset. Remember, you're a proactive problem solver. So whenever you share a problem, make sure you share possible solutions as you see them. Never give your boss the monkey. Your manager will truly appreciate this effort, even more so if you get the next strategy right. When it comes to communicating with your manager, there's a danger zone you must avoid at all costs. This is the TMI danger zone, otherwise known as too much information. Early in my career, I was eager to impress my boss with thoroughness and expertise. I'd been tasked with doing a piece of market analysis, and I spent hours compiling every piece of data I could find. And when it came to present, I proudly walked into my boss's office with a 50-page PowerPoint, complete with charts, graphs, and detailed explanations. I was ready for anything, and I was sure she was going to be so impressed by my diligence. Instead, I think it would be fair to say that her eyes glazed over as I launched into my presentation. After about 10 minutes, she held up her hand and said, "I appreciate your hard work, Helen, but what are the key takeaways? What do I need to know right now?" And I felt like the wind had gone completely out of my sails. I realised then that I had completely missed the mark. My boss didn't need or want every single detail. She needed a concise summary of the most important points, and it needed to be actionable. And this taught me such a valuable lesson about managing up. It's all about tailoring communication to your audience. It's not about how much information you can provide, but about delivering the right information in the most effective way. Don't blow their minds with details. Rather, quickly frame your information to help them understand the situation and share what you think you should do about it. So here are 2 examples to help you understand what this might sound like. So the first one, instead of presenting a lengthy report, summarize the key points into a concise email. Say, "I've analysed our Q3 results and I've identified some areas for improvement. Here's a brief overview. I've attached the full report for your reference. I recommend we focus on X first, and I've outlined a potential action plan. Would you like to discuss this further?" Here's a second example. When facing a project delay, don't just report the problem. Say, for example, "We've encountered an unexpected issue with our supplier that may delay our project by 2 weeks. I've already reached out to alternative suppliers and have 2 backup options. Here's my proposed solution to keep us on track. What are your thoughts?" These examples demonstrate how to frame information in a way that resonates with your manager and shows that you're actively problem solving. The final strategy for managing up well is one of my most commonly asked questions, which makes me a bit sad for the state of leadership in our organizations. The question is, how do I get my manager to coach me? Getting this crucial aspect of managing up right can significantly boost your professional growth. Whether it's time, skill, or will, leaders are missing this valuable activity of coaching and developing their team, and I feel letting down their teams. However, you can take things into your own hands. As a proactive problem solver, you are going to pull coaching gems out of your manager come hell or high water. So what do? I think there are 4 actions that make the difference. First, The starting point is to be super clear about your goals. Communicate your career aspirations and the areas that you want to improve. This will give your manager a clear picture of where you need guidance. Next, ask for specific feedback. Instead of general questions or statements like, can you give me some feedback? Ask for feedback on particular projects or skills that you're focusing on. For example, how could I have handled that client presentation better? Thirdly, schedule regular check-ins. Request brief meetings focused on your development and emphasize that you value their input, but be clear about the support that you actually want. If you have one-to-ones, use them. If not, schedule specific meetings. And finally, be receptive to feedback. So when your manager does offer advice or criticism, show that you value it by implementing the suggestions and following up on the results. And remember to thank them. I think the easier you make it for your manager to coach you, the better the results are. From my experience, most leaders find it rewarding and enjoy sharing their expertise. They just don't do it enough naturally. By showing enthusiasm, commitment, and appreciation for their guidance, you're way more likely to nurture a good coaching relationship. Now, I mentioned earlier that communication skills are at the core of effectively managing up. In this video here, the number one influence strategy, I break down the specific skills of having an influential conversation in more depth. This is such a valuable skill set for any leader to master. So this is where I'd go next.